you're obviously a really good communicator. When I look at all these interviews that you do on the street, your ability to maintain this person's attention, even when they're walking away, by asking questions and being able to know what to say off the back of their responses. Do you put down some of your communication skills to your influence from your dad when you watched him speak in front of 10,000s of people when you were younger, or where do you think your communication skills came from?
Well, I mean, I think it's a mix of a couple of different things. I will say I attribute a lot of it to that, just because just as much as like I was watching him do that, I was meeting a lot of the same people that he was meeting that were very high level, high class people. And so you just kind of like naturally just being exposed to like those types of conversations at like an early age and growing up, and just like being taught like the typical like mannerisms and stuff like that, that it like takes to kind of like communicate with these types of people. I definitely was able to develop that at an early age. And then just, again, not being afraid of like public speaking, right? And then it just, again, like, you realize as well that like, a lot of these, we'll call them like wealthy people, or whether they're big executives, big wealthy entrepreneurs, it's like they can smell if a person isn't confident, right? And so I think a lot of it's just confidence, right? Going in there, right? Having the mindset that, look, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So I go into like every interview that I try and get, like, look, I don't care if this person tries to get it. I don't care, like I'm getting this interview, like no questions asked. And that's why kind of like I've developed like the framework. But like, number one, again, we'll go back to mindset. Like the most important like thing that I have to keep in mind is that, like, look, if I'm too afraid to go up to this person, or like let's say I go up to this person, right, and this person flat out rejects me, they don't do the interview, which happens all the time, right? I'm in the exact same place that I was if I hadn't even gone up and asked that person, right? Prime example, Mark Cuban, one of the richest people in the entire world. I interviewed Mark Cuban. He owns the Dallas Mavericks. In 2021, he was speaking at South by Southwest out here, was out on the street, had people around him. I went up to him straight up and just like asked him and say, hey, Mark, I started a channel at the University of Texas. I go all over the country just asking business owners their best advice to new entrepreneurs. Could I get, just a couple questions with you real quick? And he said, sure. And it's like, how many people like in that position would have been like, oh my God, it's Mark Cuban. He's a billionaire. He's going to reject me. Like, oh, I don't want to. But it's like, it's like getting chuck that out of the door with like any sort of like mentality or vendetta that you have, right? It's just like, if there's a girl that you want to go ask out, exact same thing. If you don't ask her out, you're in the exact same place that you were before, just lusting over her, not doing anything about it, right? So number one, getting out of like oh, this person is going to reject me like mindset, right? Number two is being, really good at being able to like kind of like handle objections, or before that, it's like establishing some form of like credibility. So what I've realized is that, okay, my name is James Dumoulin, but I started the channel at the University of Texas. So what sells more at this stage in the game? Well, UT does, because it's, a top 10 publicly ranked college in the entire US. So if I say something, if I attach myself to that, well, that's bigger than my name. And that also is going to lower people's guards down, right? So, you lower their guard down by establishing credibility. You're not afraid of the rejection. You go up to people confidently, and then you just handle the objections well. Well, I don't want to do it. Okay, well, I've interviewed like Mark Cuban, the CEO of Nike, right? So that's just kind of a framework. And this can apply to anybody in any sort of like sales role. They're just trying to get better at like conversating with people, or if they're afraid of like people not wanting to connect with them. That's just kind of like my process, like that I do my interviews with, but you can really apply it to like a whole bunch of different things. And I know that we kind of went off topic because we were talking about like just communicating.
But I think just on that as well, you mentioned if they shut you down, you're in the same spot.
100%.
You're in a better spot, right? Because you've stacked another rep in.
And I would say every no is a step closer to a yes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, even when we strip it back from a mindset perspective and we talk about how David Goggins talks about callousing the mind. It's like when you're in the gym and you're training and you're getting the calluses on your hands, the more shit you go through, the more you're callousing your mind mentally. So you're strengthening that ability to get rejected.
Right.
And so like, if you get shut down by Mark Cuban, you're going, okay, well, I've been shut down by Mark Cuban. Anyone below him, I don't really care if I get shut. I've already been shut down by Mark Cuban. So your heart is relative to what you've experienced in the past. And I think there's zero loss in going up to them and speaking. Right. And it's the same applied with women and all the rest of it, as you're saying. You can apply it to every area of your life. Is like coming back to the start, it's like take the risk or lose the chance. Imagine if you didn't take the risk and you walk away from that and you go, fuck, I did it. And I've done that before as well.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
remember how much it sucks.
Yeah.
Because you go, fuck, like, what did I actually have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, it's just like if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill of regret. You know what I mean? Like seriously, like that is something that will sit with me, and that would have sat with me. And there's definitely been times where I didn't take advantage of that willingness to go and do it. It's like, man, like what could that really have been? And the pain of that, in my opinion, is worse than anything else. It far outweighs any sort of rejection that you could get from anything. Like again, we can apply this to everything.
So when you're interviewing these people on the street, how do you then transfer that network and that connection into an actual connection? Have you had people that you've met on the street that you've then followed through and caught up with them and spent time with them as well? Or has all the connections with the higher level people where you've spent off-air time with them come from not interviewing them on the street?
This is excellent as well. And I think it's a big mistake that a lot of people make, especially like more of the ones that would be kind of like in my position, is that what I notice a lot of people like they don't do is, like they connect with somebody, but then they don't do anything to like nurture, actually build that relationship. Now, in my case, are you familiar with Ryan Serhant?
Yeah.
So he's, the one of the biggest luxury real estate agents in the entire world, and has the Netflix show Owning Manhattan. And I asked him, kind of in the interview I did with him, I was like, guys, last message to, the younger generation, somebody aspiring to become a multimillionaire like yourself in today's world. And he said, well, I'll say this. When I was younger, I used to think that the money, right, was in the skill sets that we possess, right? Or like, in the secret to, selling, that the money's, it's in the skill sets that we have. But he said, the older I've gotten, I've realized that it's all about attention. And so with, myself, my two partners and I, like our channel, what we've been able to do is do just that. We do 250 million views a month. So, with a lot of these people, it's like they get more exposure on our channel than they would have on any other platform. Mainstream media, Forbes, like it's just the nature of how viral our channel goes. And a lot of these people have gone. It's honestly made them almost feel like, man, like these guys did this for me. A lot of them, especially if they're very credible, like it's completely free and would be more, publicity than pretty much, I think in my opinion, any other, media outlet could probably get for them right now, especially if they do really well in the interview. And so with that, it's like, that's kind of what will help build that relationship. It's like, hey, like, we do something great for them, and then maybe we may leverage them to come, speak to our community, or maybe it's, this is something that will, as we continue to get bigger, like I'm very big on like focus. Like focus to me stands for follow one course until successful. And so right now I'm like, my goal is to like make as much money as I can in media and growing out like one of the biggest, finance media, companies in the entire, world. And then eventually it's like, I'm sure that we will make a lot of different plays in real estate. So a lot of these huge real estate people in commercial and residential that we've been able to connect over these last couple of years, I'm sure that there will be plenty of opportunities down the line where we'll be able to connect and utilize that. But a lot of it's also like us, like, being able to provide value for other people. A lot of these people that we've interviewed, we run all of their personal brands. So we have like a marketing agency as well. So, it's like there's definitely some synergy with a lot of the people that we interview and connect with, or maybe it's just us putting them on game, with like the content creation stuff, helping them take their brands to the next level, helping them scale on socials. So, definitely have been able to build a lot of great relationships, with some huge Fortune 500 CEOs and just some like really renowned entrepreneurs. And I think that it's definitely something that not enough people do. It's like they'll connect with one person one time and they think, oh, I got this person in my Rolodex. But it's like, I guarantee if you shot that person a message right now to help you out or to give you this or whatever, it's like that person wouldn't even. So that's why it's very important that it's like you're constantly like looking for ways to add value to other people, right? Life gives to givers and it takes from takers. So I think if anybody and anything, just like go into every situation looking at how can I give to this person? How could I add value to this person? That person will remember. Like anytime somebody's gone out of their way to do something for me or, help me out with something or, provide value for me in an area maybe I wasn't looking in, like I'll always remember and like I'll just have it in the back of my mind. It's like, man, I won't, not only will I not forget that, but I'm also looking for ways that, man, hey man, I saw that you did this. What if you did this instead? And I'm always looking for ways. So I think it's like, that's very important is to look at ways to kind of add value and impact for other people.